How's it going, folks? Welcome back to another episode of the Reselling Niche podcast. And we have a really, really exciting topic today. We're going to talk about Pinterest and all the ways we can use it with reselling. And I'm going to throw it over to my buddy, Russ. How's it going, Russ?
It's going good, Mo. It's getting hot down here in the south, but I'm excited about having Michael on as a guest, and I'll tell you why. Michael, we found him through our Facebook group. He's been listening to our podcast, and we threw a message out there. Hey, anybody know about Pinterest? Tapping into the eBay Pinterest, and so Michael raised his hand. He didn't realize we were going to get him on the show to talk about it, but he's gracious enough to come. I'm excited that he's also from the same area I am, close to the same area. It's good to have another Southern boy on. Hi, Michael. How are you?
How's it going, bud?
It's going good. Now, first we want to say I want to get your Instagram out there because I know we connected on Instagram. RMR General Store.
For Instagram, Pinterest, eBay, Facebook, Twitter. Yeah.
We'll get all those in there on the bottom before the end of the
we'll put them on, but I want to make sure we got that in there. And also a quick question about Mississippi. How in the world? Now, we were talking before the show. I lived over in both Louisiana and Alabama. And how in the world did Mississippi get clogging as their state dance?
I don't know. I've not found a person that I have no idea where that comes from.
That's one of those weird facts that I've known that it was like, how did somebody just went, yeah, let's make it clogging. So.
I don't know. I went to a school with a girl that took clogging lessons, and she would go to different festivals and put them on. And I never.
It's evidently a thing there, so that's cool. So keep that in mind. If you happen to find clogging shoes out, list them because they might go to Mississippi.
Very true.
So Michael, on the main question I had is this been brought up about like driving traffic to your eBay store. Mm-hmm. And one of the comments you said on our group was when you put a listing up and then Pinterest, pinned it on Pinterest, you said that listing's going to sell. And it makes sense. So kind of explain that process to me. I've been on Pinterest, I've pinned things, but I'm not like savvy on it.
Okay. The easiest way for me whenever I was understood it, my wife introduced me to Pinterest, and it was just, at that point in time, it was just a personal account, and it would be, I would find things for camping, trucks, things that interested me. I actually thought it was just nothing but women's stuff. I'm not trying to be sexist, but that's what I thought.
Right.
And no, there's a whole bunch of anything you can think of out there. And about a year ago, we started this eBay business, and I decided, I was like, well, I'm going to open us up the different avenues for social media. And I noticed whenever I had started listing things on eBay that, it had the little Pinterest button at the very end after everything was all said and done, because I list from my computer. I just find it easier for me, but I do know that it is also in the app that I can share it that way, that I could share it directly, tie my business Pinterest account, or if I had a personal, I could have done it with a personal, but tie my Pinterest account to that. And so whenever I share it, it goes directly to Pinterest, and I can, pick what board it's going to be in. And what I've found is, it's the idea of, bad news travels fast type thing, where one person sees it, they share it, and then the people that follow them, they see it, and then they start sharing it. And eventually it's going to come across the eyes of someone that's interested in it. And the nice part with eBay, as far as tying it in, is not only does it show a picture of it and your description, your title, but it will also say available on eBay at this dollar amount, whatever amount you put it at. And then whenever the person clicks on it, it takes it directly to your listing, not a general eBay listing, directly to your listing, because that is your link. And what I found is whenever people start sharing a certain thing, no matter what it is, it doesn't take very long. If it's a little golden book Cinderella book, not too long ago sold one of those. I had it get shared a couple of times, directly from our board, and it was maybe a week later it sold. I had a tactical light. I mean, there's just numerous things that I know is coming from that, because it's past the coincidence phase, and now it's getting real, it's becoming more and more regular.
Now, do you use the in that sales area on my eBay? Do you ever look at that and notice that, because it'll show you where your sales come from, like inside eBay, outside of eBay, and you can definitely see that rise as the items you put on Pinterest.
Absolutely, especially if it's something. Okay. I mean, I don't share everything. Like if I go to Walmart and do some retail arbitrage, they have something on clearance, and it's something that's I don't think would go good on Pinterest. I'm not going to pin it to that. I generally the more unique items is where I use Pinterest.
Okay. If I could stop you just real fast, just for anyone that's maybe not too familiar with Pinterest at all, if you could just give a kind of a brief little overview of what it is and why it's used or how people are using it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know exactly when it started. It's been out for several years now, but one of the things that I like about it is the fact that you're just sharing items or ideas, something that you've come across, whether it's a web page, a link, a picture of a pair of boots that you like. It doesn't matter. You just share it. You make your board, which is a group of items or pins, and it's themed. Most people always theme it. And you just simply, you pin it to that board. And then somebody can go onto Pinterest and type in, cowboy boots white. And whenever they do that, it'll show, a ton of different relevant pins that are available. And hopefully yours shows up in that.
I think the idea, the original idea came from like a collage. Do you remember making collages as a kid? Yeah. You put all the stuff that you like. And I know a couple years ago when we were rehabbing down in Florida, we got into Pinterest and would like pin stuff that we wanted to build or do. And, never even thought about it as a driver to eBay. And I know a lot of people do it. So I'm behind the curve on that. That's why I'm trying to learn as much as possible, because the more we do. And you said you pinned it in, it wasn't books, but you pinned it in, what's boards. The board, right? Yeah. So you could have unlimited amount of boards, right?
Yeah. I think like right now, as far as us, I've got 26 boards, a little over 1,000 pins, and that's just primarily, there are a few personal ones where if I find something that is an idea for a store, for the store, but primarily it's all items that I've listed at some point in time.
And you can see what other, like you can see people that have liked it and also shared it, correct? And correct. Pinned it. Yeah.
Correct. You'll get notifications.
You can see.
Yeah, you'll get notifications through the app and through your email letting you know that, Bob Jones, pinned this to their board, and you can see what board they pinned it to. And it kind of gives you an idea. And then from there, where it goes, that's the one thing it won't say, like, so if I pin something of yours, you'll see the notification that I pinned it. But now if somebody else pins it from mine, you're not going to see that notification. So you don't know the ramifications or how far spread it gets.
Gotcha.
But if someone's pinning it, that more people are going to be sharing it as well, generally.
Gotcha. What kind of areas, you said you've got 26 boards, and now I did, as I was researching, I can't remember who said this, I think it was Tanya in one of her YouTubes, that she'll go through and she may, like every third pin may be her actual item. So she's creating that board, so to speak. Not, she's it's not just slamming your eBay items down. Do you kind of do that too, or?
No, primarily I just slam my eBay.
Gotcha. Items. That's fine. Yeah. Because especially if you're in that vintage or one-off or unique items.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
and that's the reason why I said that. I keep it more for just the more unique items. I don't want to sit there and pin modern Star Wars toys, or, things like that out there. It's just that vintage T-shirt or an old computer part that you're not going to see everywhere. That'll be a little bit more unique.
Gotcha. Have you had anybody ever reach out to you and say, "Hey, I found this on Pinterest," and have they ever confirmed?
Yeah. I have. Hey, I saw this, because a lot of times if it's something that I'll notice, if it's something that I've got on Pinterest and it's been repinned, I'll look at the names. Because it'll generally, most of the time, it'll give the person's name, because most everybody just has their name, and then I'll see who bought it. And if the name's similar, like maybe the last names are the same, then I'll reach out to them and just ask them, like, hey, how did you find this? And I've had it on several occasions where people have said, oh, well, I was, my wife found it for me on Pinterest.
Got it.
And I decided I wanted to get it.
And this is, you said not only on eBay, but Pinterest. Do you also do Poshmark?
I have started on Postmark.
Okay.
I think I've got 3 items on there. So, I haven't really, dove into it. I'm still trying to get, because recently this became my full-time gig, not exactly by choice, but I'm actually happy about it. So, hey, I'm taking lemonade.
Every beginning starts with an ending. So,
Yep.
Yeah, we went through the same thing. We were doing eBay. We were forced into doing it full time, and we've been happy ever since.
Yep. And so I've started putting things on Poshmark, and I noticed I didn't even really know how it did. I did know that if you go into the settings, you can tie your Facebook, Twitter, and then it had a spot for Pinterest. And of course, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll put the Pinterest in there. And what it does with Poshmark is, if I list something in my closet, as they call it, then it'll automatically send it to Pinterest, and there will be it'll create a board that says My Posh Closet. And then because I know with Poshmark, there's a lot of sharing going on, that if anytime I share someone's clothing item, whatever it is, that it also shares it to my Pinterest account, and it makes a board called My Posh Pics. And so that way, it's kind of anytime somebody shares your item, if they've got it attached to it, it's doing that as well. So you're getting multiple ways that people can see it, and it links right back to your item.
That's awesome, because I know with Poshmark, it's really like sharing is like a big thing, and then it can take a lot of time if you have like a bigger store. I've heard like 20, 30, 40 minutes. So you're doubling up with one click, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. The beauty of like now the Pinterest button on eBay. We're not talking a lot of time here, are we? I mean, boom, you hit a button, it goes away, it goes in.
Well, what you'll have to do is, like on eBay. So whether you're in the app, whether you're on a computer, whenever you click that Pinterest, if you haven't already tied the two together, it'll bring up the spot for you to log in with your Pinterest account. Once you do that, unless someone logs you out, it'll stay on there. Then once you click that Pinterest button, it's going to bring up all your boards, and you'll just go through and you'll select, okay, what board am I attaching this to? Vintage men's tees, collectible puzzle, whatever it may be, and then you just simply touch on that and pin it. That's it. Now with a business account, it will bring up one more step, which is they're wanting you to promote it. I don't promote anything at all, but that way it'll, I guess, pop up sooner in someone's search results. But I haven't done any of that. I'm completely 100% free.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And does that business account, that would only charge you then if you did promote it? Is that correct? Or
correct. That's the only time. If you use any of their ads, kind of like whenever you do a Facebook page, and they're trying to, they want you to put into the Facebook ads. It's the same thing with Pinterest.
Okay. And then what would you say is, because I know you said you had a business account, is the difference kind of similar to like an Instagram business account, where it's more, as long as you have, a business name, and I don't know if you need an address. What's the difference between the two, like a regular and a business account?
The only difference that I've seen, because I had, started out with a personal account and then opened up a separate business account, just where I had the two separated, is my business account, I can see the analytics. So like just looking at, just logging in, and on my main page, it shows, my name, and then it shows how many pins, how many boards, and then the average monthly viewers. Now, the way that they consider viewers is the same as eBay considers impressions. In other words, it's shown up to somebody. It doesn't mean that they clicked on it, but it's shown up to them. So like right now, my average is 11.2 thousand monthly viewers. So my pins reach out that far. I'm sure there's other businesses that are hundreds and millions of monthly viewer averages, but they're pumping a lot more into it than what I am. And then if you actually dig into the analytics, it gets really interesting. Like it'll tell you the demographics. It'll break it down: male, female, undecided, what country, what language. There's multiple different things that I wish eBay would do with some of their analytics sometimes, at least letting us know where are these views inside of eBay coming from. Are they coming from primarily the U.S., or am I getting more views on this particular item or type of item from Japan? I mean, it depends on on what you want to see, but they give you a lot.
Okay. So this is kind of reminding me a little bit of Instagram. So let me ask you something. Let's just say you sell something. Can someone reach out to you directly on Pinterest, purchase it on Pinterest, or is it kind of going to be rerouting you to like eBay or something like that?
There are, you can set up where you can sell directly from Pinterest. I haven't pursued it because I do know that I haven't picked into it to see if there's like monthly fees or if it's just a percentage, what their deal is right now. I'm using it strictly right now just for advertising, but I have heard of people that do sell strictly. They have it set up through Pinterest, and someone clicks on the link and it actually has a buy now button where they can buy it through Pinterest, and you get the notification and you can ship it out to them.
I recently caught that Gary V intro or Gary V snippet recently, and he was talking about advertisers right now are spending $80 billion, and brand names are dropping because people aren't, the advertising, they're not catching it anymore. The advertisers are looking for that. And he goes, people that are on Pinterest, Instagram, everything, he goes, we're going to get that money. It's coming to us. So, there's going to be somebody like yourself that's got it all on one area. Advertisers are going to come to you one day and say, advertise our stuff. You can sell it directly. We'll drop ship it. I mean, so it's coming down the pipe, because Mo, isn't Instagram supposed to be putting a buy button on?
I heard the same thing. I heard the rumors about Pinterest before too. I'm pretty sure Instagram is, or they have. I haven't personally seen it, but I heard the same thing, that they want to have their own direct buy button, or if it's a link or what have you. But
Michael's ahead of the curve on us.
Yes,
on that. Yeah, definitely good. Michael, about the connections and the timing and stuff like that, you obviously feel it's worth it. Now, did you originally like just go all in and I'm gonna pin everything, or did you try a couple, or how did that process first work out?
Well, I mean, whenever we first started it last year, I wasn't pinning anything at all and didn't pay attention really to the social media side of eBay, as far as sharing and things like that. And I was still working for my employer at that time. And it was just one night something clicked in my head of, okay, you work for a company that spends millions and millions of dollars. You see their ads on TV all the time, through Google, through Facebook, through Instagram, through Pinterest, all these different things. Their ads are showing up, and you need to see what does it take. And so that's whenever, I opened a Facebook page, I opened up the Pinterest account and started really just, digging through it. Okay, here's what I need to find out about Facebook, and, and where I need to tie it in Instagram and Pinterest. And Pinterest to me still seems to be, out of all of them, at least for me, it seems to be the biggest untapped side of it. because a lot of people, in my opinion, a lot of people see it more as a time waster. So they're at the doctor's office, or they're waiting at their kid's school in the line or something. They'll be flipping through Pinterest, finding different things, and to me, that's an audience that is captive. They're going to be doing that for maybe 30, 45 minutes, and
I got you. Okay, it's it's something that somebody does as a downtime type thing,
right?
Where they're yeah. Okay.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is, a couple of things are hitting me at one time. One, I'll go back to Gary V. Is one of the things like what you just mentioned there about how it's kind of maybe not seen as the top place to look first. For like Gary V talks about Twitter and how people trying to constantly advertise themselves, and they always look, oh, okay, I'm going to advertise on Facebook. I'm going to go for the big boys, when there's still a big source like Pinterest that is probably untapped, like you said, that people are overlooking. And then another thing that I'm thinking is that we're starting to see a kind of separation between websites and apps. Obviously, they're separated, but Pinterest seems like more of an Instagram type. It's kind of leading with the app, as a sense that maybe, eBay it's got an app, but it's kind of lacks a little bit. But I think Pinterest is kind of pushing that thing to where you, like you said, you have a little bit of downtime, you're thumbing through it, and it's like a virtual magazine almost of stuff. So you're sitting in the doctor's office, you're going through whatever. So have you seen that people have used it as more of a maybe not purchasing thing, but looking through your items, and they've like asked you questions about things, or is it 100% I'm looking to buy this? I'm wondering, did Michael freeze there for a second?
It looks that way. Well,
Yep.
Hopefully he'll be able to jump back in the link here in a second. So,
Gotcha.
I think, Mo, this really taps into a few things. If you're getting more Pinterest people looking at your eBay items, your SEO is going to go up.
Yeah.
On your Google SEO is going to go up, because now it's starting to say, hey, here's an item. It's getting pluffed up pretty good. So it adds to that. It adds Google traffic. It can add, other areas. You get more views, Google's going to push you. You're going to go, not Google, I'm sorry. If you get more views, eBay's going to, supposedly, nobody knows the algorithm of the feed, but, it's going to put you higher, quote, on the feed.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those, to me, no-brainers. I'm so glad we found somebody like Michael that's done it and seen the results.
Oh yeah, and
So,
I like the way he thinks about it. Like what I was trying to say there was that he's kind of seeing it as, maybe it's not the most popular thing right now, but it's still, top 5. It's still a huge site, huge app, and it's an opportunity. So
there he is. We got him back.
Oh, is he back there? I can see his name.
Start to hear him again.
And actually, one thing to piggyback on what you just said there, Russ, I'm wondering if Pinterest is kind of doing it 2 ways. One, they're attaching themselves to like Facebook, eBay, Postmark, but also Google Images is, like you were talking about the boards. So if you go to Google Images, I don't know if a lot of those that I see are Pinterest pictures. So I'm thinking those are ranking pretty high. I mean,
that would make sense and fit right in line with the SEO stuff, because, man, more and more people are seeing it, and more people it'll show up higher on the feed, so to speak.
Exactly. And then, because I know a lot of people these days with their eBay listings or their Poshmark listings are talking about how to basically make those listings better for Google search, because a lot of people still use Google to search for items to buy. Yep. So maybe if Pinterest has the best pictures, they come up higher in the search rankings, you're going to find them on Pinterest and possibly buy directly through Pinterest or through eBay. So they're kind of like more than doubling up. They're like tripling up in a sense.
And I feel like myself, I'm behind the game on it.
Yeah.
Because it's out there. And, another Gary Vee quote that he said one time, somebody asked him, should I do Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. Which should I do? And he went, all of them.
All of them.
So Michael has done that. He's started out, did all of them.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I think he's coming back on. Let's send a message real fast. I don't know if it's my internet's acting up real fast.
I'm not going to sing while we're waiting.
Oh, come on, you can sing.
Well, you ever heard a penguin get its toe stubbed? That's what I sound like.
No worries. But yeah, so this is really, really interesting to me though, for like I said, multiple reasons, because I feel like we're gonna see a huge separation kind of between like apps and websites. Like it's oh, there he is. How's it going, Michael? Sorry, we lost you there for a second.
Yeah, I found out that my phone is not really liking this heat.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, no worries.
No worries, man.
I'm not sure what you heard because I had a bit of a long-winded question there, but I was basically talking about how Pinterest was kind of doubling, tripling up in the sense that they're, for one thing, showing up high in the Google Images search rankings, and then kind of also separating themselves as an app. So kind of separating themselves from, like, say, eBay and Amazon, which, you know, they do have apps, but they're more, this is more of like, how do I say this? You're looking not, it's kind of like a triple threat in basketball. You can look through Pinterest, you can look through images to find Pinterest, or you can look through their app. So it's like going in multiple. Have you found that sometimes people look through your Pinterest boards just to get ideas, or is it actually specifically to buy things?
Well, that's the one thing that I, I I don't see happen because there's not really an analytic of, okay, this person's been viewing your particular board. Um, Basically, all it'll ever really show me is if someone views something or there's an impression, and then if there's a click. So I mean, I haven't really gotten any feedback from anybody on anything like that.
Okay. Okay. And then I guess another thing, because I want to see if we go over the different platforms that Pinterest connects itself to. Because we've talked about eBay, Postmark. Are there any other platform? Like, is it connecting with Amazon? I doubt it, but is it in any way, shape, or
Yeah,
form? Or
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't
Mo, I'm
know
getting.
as a
Let me.
seller, yeah, they would have it available to you. I do know, like, if you just look, if you're on Amazon's website, you can from their website, pin different things. So, and I'm not really sure how Amazon has it tied in, and a ton of websites also have, you'll have, you know, people that write blogs or vlogs. YouTube is tied in with it as well. Um, just about everybody out there, for the most part, has some type of extension where in their social media sharing, where it's generally like the big ones: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and then some will
yes,
use Reddit
yeah.
and
I
others.
mean, like you said, when you went to Facebook, it had those listings, and it said, one of them had a check marks for Pinterest.
Hmm.
So it's one of the few that I like. Instagram is an app. That's it. You use their website, and it's not really. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can hear that feedback too. I'm gonna mute
Yeah,
myself after this.
I
But
think it might be Michael. If he's got, it sounds like he's got something open, and we're hearing him twice. I'm hearing you twice through Michael's.
Is that better?
I think so.
Cool.
Oh, maybe
No,
not.
still got it. Yeah.
Let's see here. Wondering if I close my other browser. Okay, is that better?
Yep.
That's
No,
okay.
I still hear it, but that's all right, Mo.
Yeah, we'll go ahead. That's no worries. Um, so I guess my next thing is, say that someone doesn't know anything about Pinterest and they're getting started and they want to hook up with their eBay, their Poshmark. How would they go about it? Do they just
Well, I mean, first, of course, you're going to need a Pinterest account,
okay?
and whichever account you decide in the very beginning, it'll ask, is this a personal or a business? That's your choice. If you already have a business, you already have a personal account, you can always go into your settings through Pinterest and actually change it to a business account. Um, It doesn't cost anything to do anything like that. Like I said, the main thing that you're going to be adding in um, is the fact that you'll be able to see the analytics side of it. Other than that, there's not really that big of a difference between the two.
Okay.
And then for like I said on eBay, if you're using the app or you're on their website, when you decide to whenever you decide to share, that very first time that you touch on Pinterest to share it on whichever way, it's going to ask you for your information to log in. The app will save it for it to share. Your computer, your PC will save it as well, unless somebody goes in and logs out. That'd be the only reason why. And then, like I said, from there, just pin like crazy.
Okay. And then I guess the other thing I was thinking is, let's say you sell something on eBay, and it's something that was pinned. Does that get taken down from Pinterest, or does it stay in history?
It stays in the history. If somebody has pinned it, it stays on theirs. So even if I go in and I take it off, it'll still be on theirs. But now it will say at that point, if it's been sold, I'm assuming, I don't know how often it refreshes, updates itself, but it will say if it's been sold, it'll say out of stock.
Okay. I'm wondering if people use this as a sourcing tool as well. Like they can create boards. Say you go somebody's, Postmark closet or their eBay listing, and then kind of pin things and say, I'm going to source this type of item.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the nice thing about it is, let's say that you're using the business account, but you can do it with personal as well. But you set up your business account. There's two different types of boards. You have a public board, everybody can see it, and then you have a private board. So you can sit there and be pinning things on how to maximize the most money off of that coffee cup. All these different things that you may not want people to see. You may not want them to, to know that you're trying to make the most profit that you can. And so you can have those private boards that only you can see, or, you and whoever you invite, if you've got a family member or a partner that's working with you or at least helping you some, you can sit there and have that private board that y'all are the only ones that can see it. And you can sit there and pin ideas back and forth.
That's really, moving forward in the, let's just say you were, I'm tying this back to reselling because that's what I always think about. But let's just say you're trying to figure out, like you said, for your sourcers, if you have employees, sending people out to get stuff, you can have saved boards. So, we're looking for X, Y, and Z in this category.
Yep.
Go and get it type thing. Okay, that's really neat. Okay. I'm trying to think of all the other ways we can use, because, like you said, it is free, and you kind of go in any which way you want. I know for a fact when we do even a YouTube video, it'll ask you for your Pinterest link. Okay, this is very, very cool. And have you noticed your sales go up, or
drastically
since you started using Pinterest?
Since I started using Pinterest, it seems to me that, and even if they're not, because once again, you can go to the performance tab and you can look and see, like Russ was saying, where here's all your clicks and views from inside eBay, and here's all of them from outside. Now, it doesn't go all the way, or at least I haven't found a way to see, okay, well, these are the ones from Pinterest.com, Google.com, Facebook, or whatever, but at least it shows you're getting this many views, and, it's just been growing constantly. That little change of color on the graph is getting larger and larger, week in, week out. And I know it's just the fact that we're throwing things up there, and people are seeing our boards. So even though they may not buy that T-shirt, if it brings them to the store, it very well might, spur a hat sale or whatever.
Gotcha. Okay, and then is there I know with eBay listings, they take them down after a while, and it's just basically like words after, I think, 90 days or something like that. Is there something similar to Pinterest where they take it down after a while?
Not that I've seen. Now, I've only been doing this for a year, so I don't know if maybe after 3 years or 2 years, I don't know. I haven't read anything saying that you need to refresh your pins, or anything like that. Because I did, whenever I was getting it started, I did a lot of studying, looked at a lot of different, other people's pins and the way that they were doing it, and how they set up their boards, so I could, get the best out of that to use for us.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is really neat. And then I guess another way, another thing is that with Pinterest, have you noticed that you have to have multiple accounts, or is it all like one? Do you have to separate it? Because, if I'm looking up shoes, I only want to look at this kind of board, or is it just different boards for everything?
It's well, all right. So like I said, we got the business account. Now it still operates just like Pinterest does. So if you go on there and you're searching for, retro Nike Air Jordans, it's going to start showing up. And that's another thing that I didn't even touch on is Pinterest learns what you like. All right. So if you're looking up, different designs for a '68 Mustang, and you've looked it up a couple of times, it's going to know, okay, well, you like Mustangs. You probably also like hot rods, and you like this. So it may not even be anything that you've directly pinned or directly looked at, and one of my pins shows up, because it's tied in that area. It has one of the keywords that their search algorithm is going to show up with.
Okay. Okay. That's very, very neat, actually. Okay. And then with like your eBay listings, which one is with eBay you don't share like you do with Poshmark.
Right.
So when you list on Pinterest, does something happen to your eBay listings anyway? Have you noticed any positive effect on sharing your on, I don't know, editing pins or anything like that?
Well, I've noticed, because I did do an experiment, early on, and I only pinned certain things. Now, there would be things that were in the same. It was never, like for like. I never had the opportunity or the ability to do that. But still, the same type of item. And I would share one on Pinterest and the other one I wouldn't. I would just strictly have it on eBay and hope for someone to search for something like that. And the amount of views that the other items would get that were on Pinterest versus what was on eBay, strictly, it was about 3 times more views was probably, I would say, the good average. I had all of it wrote down, but yeah, that's long gone.
Okay. The only thing I'm thinking is there's a lot of people that talk about how, some people publicize their eBay account, some people don't. And then some people who publicize them, I don't know if they're on Pinterest or not, but they say, we'll get a lot of people looking, and then we won't necessarily have buyers. And then that, I think, hurts your account. But I think if you have it on Pinterest there, it's like you can have them look at the items, and it's not going to hurt your eBay account. So I think it's a good way to basically advertise your stuff without inversely or conversely hurting your eBay account. So that's really, really cool, actually.
I haven't seen any negative effects from it yet.
I'm scanning through Pinterest as we're kind of talking here, and I happen to look a couple interesting things. And I just did Craft Tools, which is a leather working tool from Tandy. And when I'm looking at it, I see some that actually have the price on their Pinterest, and it's not a button. It's actually it looks like it took a picture from eBay and put the price on it. So there's something out there that will even start showing you the price of your item. So,
like you said, if you're linking directly from your eBay account, like, so
it puts a price. Oh, cool.
If you looked up at RMR General Store, and it brought up us, then 99.9% of the listings you're going to see on there, you'll actually see the item, the description from eBay, or I'm sorry, the title from eBay. And then the price, and if it's still available, it's going to, allow you to, it'll say the price. If not, out of stock.
I didn't catch that before. I was like, oh, because I've seen Pinterest where, it's just the item, or it's just the pin. So cool.
So I think what I'm going to do here, only because my mic is acting up here, I think a little bit. I have a little bit of echo. We're going to have Michael come back in. And we're going to sort out the sound issue before we have the next show. But what I want to have you do, Michael, if you could do me a favor and let everyone know how to find you. Obviously, we're going to put your links down below as well, and then we're going to have you come back on, and we're going to chat a little bit more about Pinterest and other reselling stuff too.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, let's see, eBay, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
What was your handle?
And it's at RMR General Store. It's actually my first two initials and my wife's first initial. So, and we call it Armor, RMR.
Gotcha.
Kind of a biblical thing that we went with.
Gotcha.
Nice. Thank you so much, Michael.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to do now, the reason I'm thinking right now is because I've got a million different things I can do with Pinterest right now that I want to test out before I have you come on next time.
Yeah.
Both with eBay, with Postmark, which I just started, and I want to look into how it works with eBay, not just that, Amazon and Google Images. Because I was telling this to Russ earlier, people are kind of fitting their eBay listings to the Google search to get more looks. But if you're doing that with Pinterest, and you're not going to get hurt by people just going to your eBay store and just looking, going away. So it's a way of advertising for free without hurting your store. So it's like a win-win-win, basically. So this is really, really exciting, actually. And it's Pinterest. It's like, how I'm guessing they've been around 10 years or so, at least.
Yeah, it's about that long. Yeah, they've been around.
Yeah, so they're established high. Yeah, this is a big site. So I really want to thank Michael for coming on, and for Russ. And this has been another episode of the Reselling Niche podcast. And really exciting, actually, even more exciting is Michael came through our Facebook group, which is just growing. We should hit 100 members soon. Reselling Niche podcast Facebook group. And for everybody out there on iTunes or YouTube, however you're watching this, check us out next time. And we'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye.
Thanks.